All right, welcome back to the Run.down post-game show here on the Strickland YouTube channel, the Strickland Twitter, and if you're listening to this the day after the Strickland Podcast Network, I am Sam. I will be taking us through tonight's post-game show as the Knicks lose 132 to 121 to the Indiana Pacers, who get revenge on us from our early season thrashing of them a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks, there's a lot to get into with this Knicks team early in this year. If you're new, leave a like, subscribe, also leave a comment. I'll get to as many as I can throughout this show. Probably won't keep it on too long, but before we get started, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting, online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL, to entertainment and political props. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering, BetOnline. The game starts here. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to get into with this Knicks game. I think the glaring thing for most people is the rotation right now. So this is something that has been a concern for many people, myself included, in this early part of the year. Yeah, I mean, this team essentially went 6.5 deep today versus an Indiana team that's also facing they're not the healthiest team either. They're missing Nemhard and Obi and Neesmith, and they still didn't go as ridiculous with their starters numbers minutes wise in this game. I mean, they still ended up playing guys like Enrique Freeman and Johnny Furphy and Quentin Jackson just to spell some minutes for their guys. And that's something that I thought Thibs would do. I mean, he's shown some early season trust with guys like Pacome or Kolek or even Matt Ryan. I mean, you don't want to try to get those guys in there just to give our guys some minutes, because I think a lot of what we see towards the end of these games, especially with the defense, is a large part of defense is just the effort, and there's fatigue, I think, out there with these guys. Not to give them any excuses, because the effort out there is pathetic on a lot of this stuff, but I mean, they're not running a lot of their guys into the ground. I mean, Mathurin was the guy on the Pacers that played the most minutes. He played 41 minutes, I would say, and lit us up. 38 points, killed us out there. Even on the glass, he was good. Eight rebounds, efficient too, 72%, 7 of 9 from 3. Just absolutely killed us. The Knicks defense has a lot of issues to solve, but I just think also you just want to get your guys some minutes of rest. You're playing 3 guys 40 minutes in November. It's a long season, and this team has lofty expectations. So if you want to meet those expectations, it starts with not playing guys 40 minutes in a November Sunday matinee game. So we'll see how the Knicks address this. I know it usually takes a while for the Knicks to really make these adjustments. We're also missing a ton of guys too, so that doesn't help either. But yeah, I mean, they got to do something to spell some minutes while these guys are out. And here we are again talking about some of the same issues that we dealt with last year in terms of guys being hurt, guys playing a lot of minutes, just something that the Knicks can't seem to evade at this point in their timeline of this team. I mean, you're expecting to have guys like Precious and Shamit available, Campaign, nothing. And Thibs is very reluctant to rely on whoever else is on the bench, which is basically rookies at this point, and we know how he is about that. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, another issue tonight was probably the lack of volume for 3. I mean, this team took 25 threes. This team just can't seem to get it right in terms of consistency with the volume. Pacers, on the other hand, They took 46 threes, basically doubled us up. Can't have that happening. They even like tripled us up on the makes alone. And yeah, it's just not looking good for this team right now. I mean, no defense, no depth. That's not a good combo, and the lack of volume from three is just not good. It's looking like a lot of guys are just very reluctant. Like Brunson only taking 2. Bridges took a lot, but he's been breaking a lot too. But yeah, this is just really, really tough loss for this Knicks team. And I feel like, a lot of these losses are going to continue to look like this early in the year. I think we can also talk about Bridges. Had a really rough game tonight. 4 of 11 from the field, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Did not look good on either end of the floor. This 3-point shot thing is just like really becoming not concerning altogether just yet, but like it's like if you're not going to be good on either end of the floor, that haul, and I know it's very early, but that haul that we sent out doesn't look that good if like we're having performances like this. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, we had some good numbers from Brunson, 33 and 10. Towns, 30 and 9. OG, 24, 2 steals. OG looked really good in that first half. He looked really good in that first half. And you're just hoping that he continues to he looks like he's the third option on this team at this point. It's not Mikal. Mikal's way too inconsistent. He's way too just like the 3-point shot is just not there enough. She's just not where we thought he would be at this point, especially after seeing what he did in especially his early Brooklyn tenure. It's just like it's not the guy that we're getting so far, and we'll see. I mean, it's early on in the season. Things can change, so we'll see if things change. But yeah, I would have really liked to see some other guys get some minutes tonight just to dispel some of these issues early on. But yeah, I mean, the defense is a problem. It's not just Mikal either. I feel like Hart tonight defensively was just not all the way there. Towns in drop, brutal. I mean, this Indiana team, when they are hitting, man, like this is a really tough team for this Knicks team. I mean, offensively they can keep up, but like defensively, it's like you run into issues there with like the drop defense, miscommunication on like screens and stuff like that. In Mikal, going back to Mikal, the pick and roll navigation is just absolutely brutal, and there's a lot of miscommunications there. Whenever he's involved in these actions, I feel like the Knicks just have to either figure out like, are they going to switch? Are they just going to do drop? Like, what is it going to be? And yeah, it's just really brutal to look at right now in terms of the cohesion on that side of the ball, especially just because that's where the Knicks have always been. Like they've always looked very cohesive on that end when they finally got it all clicking. So hoping it can get to that point with this team, but the early returns so far are just not good at all. And it doesn't help that these guys just played a ton of minutes as well too. But yeah, I mean, just hoping that the Knicks can get their shit together sooner than 20 games, just so I can stop saying the 20 games thing, because I feel like I am saying that to make myself just feel a little bit better about what we're witnessing right now. But yeah, I'm going to get some comments. Shout out to everyone leaving some comments. I'll try to get to all, if not, but as many, if not all, of the comments. But Giannis LB80, he says this team cannot win a serious game. Easy to beat the Pistons. No defense Bucks, and Pacers shooting on 2 of 30 at home from 3. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say to that. Like, this team has just been very inconsistent to start the year. I mean, offensively, they have their shit together for the most part, and like there's some things that they can clean up on the offensive side too, but I think for the most part they've handled it pretty well. But like for the the defensive side of the ball is where things are just really getting messed up right there. It's like this team has its moments where they look good defensively, but like against a team like the Pacers when they're really clicking, like it can really expose like those holes that the Knicks have. And today they just really came out. And I also said the other day, I don't like when the Knicks play on these Sunday games. Like it's either a blowout or like yeah, basically. I mean, today's loss was basically a blowout. I mean, the final score looks a little bit closer than it actually was, but at a certain point in that fourth quarter, because we actually got blitzed in that fourth quarter. I mean, the Knicks only took like 3 threes in that fourth quarter. I mean, all the Pacers took like 10 plus, and they hit like above like 60% of them. So it's just like, yeah. John Leary says, not to be annoying, but why did we give up 6 first for Bridges? Well, I mean, I guess the perceived addition of Bridges was going to be that he would be sort of this like pseudo version of like a combination of his Nets tenure and his Phoenix tenure. The Nets tenure on the offensive side of the ball, the Suns tenure on the defensive side of the ball. So far, we are not seeing any of that. But you're hoping he can turn it around. It's still early, so yeah. A lot of people angry with McCall in here. H22 says, I'm so fucking fed up with McCall, man. The defense is non-existent. How are you getting cooked with by a guy with no bag? Yeah, no, that Hallie play was really bad. The crossover to the he caught him. He caught him bad. That was a bad look for McCall. You can't be getting mixed up by a dude who can barely dribble. But, I'm just going to keep saying it. There's time for McCall to turn it around. There's time for this whole team to turn around on that side of the ball. I think there's just a lot of miscommunication stuff, and I just feel like there's stuff that, like, McCall just isn't doing it at the highest level that he can just yet. Judah Benchar says Brunson's relentless ISOs down the stretch hurt us. This game it looked good because he hit a bunch of his middies, but he keeps dribbling out the clock, resulting in low quality shots and less threes. Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, yeah, this team just has to figure it out on that side of the ball in terms of like what they want to do for threes. Like one game they're really good at getting volume threes up, and then another game they're not. So it's just like this team just has to. I feel like this is part of the feeling out period and the part of like the gelling period in terms of like them trying to figure out who they are as a team and where everyone wants to get their shots and stuff like that. Like it's a lot of learning. I think this is like the first time we've actually had to see like a Knicks team like kind of start from scratch in a way. I mean, like Jalen Brunson's been here and Hart's been here. Deuce has been here. OG's been here, but OG hasn't played with like Jalen and Josh for that long. And like it's basically like a whole new team outside of that. So it's just like it's gonna be very annoying. It's gonna be very ugly at times, and they've shown us already like what it can look like when it's all clicking. So it's like we know it's in there somewhere. It's just a matter of like how can we get this to appear consistently with this team, and we'll see. I mean, Thibs's teams the last couple of years, even when we didn't have that much like continuity change, it's always been like a feeling out period for Knicks, for Thibs's Knicks teams. I mean, we've seen the last couple years. I think one of the first regular season streams post-game streams that we did, I brought up on the screen, last couple of years, Knicks have been around like 500 around this time, if not even lower than 500. So it's like, this is how it is in the early parts of the season with this team. We just kind of got to push through it as fans and just trust that things will work itself out for this team because they kind of always have. So, yeah. You're just hoping that they identify these issues quicker and sooner for our viewing sake. But, I mean, I think we all trust that they will. I know it's not the same cast of characters that we've had to see, endure these trials and tribulations, but I trust that they'll get their shit together. Knicks tape. Luca, he says the Knicks look like a thrown together collection of high end NBA talent right now. Yeah, that's basically what they are. It's just a matter of like getting it to be cohesive. Um, how long that takes, we'll see, but it's not looking pretty right now. I'll say that. He says no communication or chemistry whatsoever. Yep. Give me a second, folks. Your boy's tired. But yeah, I mean, even on the offensive side of the ball, it isn't as pretty as we'd like it to appear. Guys like Brunson going to old habits from last year in terms of like the ISOs and stuff like that. And I feel like he's still got to manage that balance. I mean, today he had 33 and 10. It looks like a good game, but there were some moments where he just needed to, I feel like, pass out sooner or just get a 3-up, you know? Nick Saban also says Thibs has to do a better job of utilizing Mikhal's strengths, so the trade isn't a massive loss for us. Yeah, I don't think he's fully utilizing them. And I saw a tweet the other day. I forgot who tweeted it on Nick's Twitter, but someone mentioned the fact that, you know, I feel like they said that Cat and Brunson are still trying to figure out their like 2-man game. And like the surrounding pieces will kind of like fill in, especially Mikhal. Like he will fill in once they like figure out what their 2-man game is and what it looks like. And I agree to that to a degree, you know. I feel like the top dogs on the team, of course, got to figure shit out. And then, you know, everyone else just kind of falls into place naturally. I mean, you kind of see this with the Bucks. I mean, Giannis and Dame, even in year 2 together, they still don't really have a good 2-man game or good chemistry with each other. And like you see it, like the rest of the team just doesn't look as good to surrounding it. So yeah, it's just a matter of that figuring itself out first, and then all the other pieces will fall into place. Let's see. Judah Benchar brings up Cat's strength in the paint has been surprising, but the Knicks don't try to get him threes at all. All the ones he gets are accidents or bad more than anything. I can't help thinking Thibs has to do with it. One of my early season like thoughts was like I feel like the Knicks are trying to find like that post creation. They're trying to find some sort of like post creation that they lost in the Randall trade. And that's why you see like Thibs like posting up Cat a bunch. But I feel like there's got to be a lot more like pick and pops, pick and rolls in this this dynamic between Thibs and between Brunson and Cat. So we'll see. I mean, there's like I said, this team has like shown us inklings of like what it can look like with when it's all cohesive, when it all works together. And they've shown us that in some of these games, and even in some of these games when they haven't, they've still been able to like take care of these teams. So, so yeah. Let's see. Jordan Bubb says players with 38 plus points on 70% from the field and from 3 against the Knicks in a game. Ben Mathurin and Gilbert Arenas. Yeah, interesting list. But you know, hey, it's always gonna happen against the Knicks. Say that. Monica McNutt postgame says that I think this team desperately, in all caps, needs to get healthy. By the time you get to the fourth quarter, the stars look gas, and I think that's part of the defense. Like why the Pacers were able to basically throw this avalanche at us from 3. I think defensively, this team was just gassed. Like you can't play guys this heavy of a load early in the season. I know that, you know, guys aren't healthy, but like I said earlier, the Pacers, they threw out some randoms, Johnny Furphy, Jackson, who else? Freeman, like they threw these guys out there just to buy their guys like a little bit of time, just a little bit. You don't have to like completely like tank like a 10-minute span in a game or something, but like just buy your guys some minutes so that way they're fresh for the fourth. Because like if you're gonna play all these guys and you lose, it's like damn, like it didn't hurt to like play those guys anyways. So Nasty Nate, what a name. I wish Thibs would trust the bench more and at least give them a chance to prove themselves. OG Hart Bridges do not look confident trying to create shot opportunities. Yeah, I mean, and that's just not their game, too. Like, OG, he's good for like the occasional like mid-range, step back here and there. Bridges is good for the occasional like mid-range stuff. And Hart is much better in transition. So it's just like this is not their game, and I feel like they're all just trying to like either make up for things that the team just doesn't have right now due to either injury or the trade, or I don't know, maybe they just are naturally just trying to add things to their game. So Kid Kuro says these losses have been irking my soul. The wins hit different because we see what the offense is supposed to look like. Why are we making it harder on us by getting away from what works? Yeah, I feel like the team is just like in this like weird experimental phase in a way, even though like they know, or at least maybe they don't fully acknowledge what works, but like they have an idea, but like they're also trying to like try different looks. I don't know. From Bondi, from Jordan Bub, says that Thibs says that Cam is further along in recovery than Precious. Wouldn't speculate if either would be available for Philly, but Cam sounds like a possibility. Oh, yes, we have our next game against 76ers, who are actually dealing with injuries of their own, and one Joel Embiid might be coming back versus the Knicks after his suspension. So, yeah, there's that. The Knicks game against the 76ers in the NBA Cup group stage, so that should be interesting. They're missing Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George has not looked good. So, yeah. But, I mean, having Cam back would definitely help. I mean, the Sixers guard rotation isn't really the best thing in the world right now, so that's something that we would definitely have over them. But, man, missing Precious for that game is really going to stink if Embiid is healthy, because I feel like Precious does a pretty good job of dealing with Embiid, and it's not just going to be OG trying to handle him by himself, or even Cat. So it's just like, yeah, we'll see though. Nasty Nate, 6.5 man rotation. Starters are playing 35 plus minutes, 3 out of 4 times a week. It's not the way to go, man. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. Kid Kara mentions that the Knicks literally shot his birthday from 3 tonight. July 25th, that would be. Yep, July 25th. Knicks should roll film of Indy's offense tonight. Killed us with exactly what our peak offense could look like. Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the 5-out spread. And like, guys like even like Siakam are like taking threes just to keep the team honest. Like, he took 6 threes. Like, come on, man. Like, Jalen Brunson, you letting Siakam shoot more threes than you? Bro, come on. Like, that can't be happening. I'm sorry. Like, didn't Jalen Brunson used to take like 8 threes a game last year or something? Like, I don't know what is going on with him in terms of like what he thinks the right balance of like threes and middies should be, but he's got to take more threes, man. Siakam's taking a whole bunch of threes over there on the other side. It's just like when you look at the other side, the threes, guys that had like major minutes too. It's like Mathurin took 9, Siakam took 6, Turner took 8, Shepherd took the least out of all of like the main 6 guys that they played with 4, and that was even more than Brunson. Halliburton took 10. Jarris Walker, who I'm not really fond of or keen of in terms of like his 3-point volume, coming into this year, but he took 7. He hit 2. He took 7. Like, these guys are taking a bunch of threes. You got to take threes. You just have to. This is the way the league is going. Like, I know people complain about, like, you know, not wanting it to be such a 3-point heavy league and offense, but like, that's just the reality of like the league that we're in. And like, if the Knicks are not taking a lot of threes, it doesn't give you a good shot to even like match your opponent these days. They basically doubled us up on makes from 3 and doubled us on takes from 3 and tripled us on makes. Like, I liked the last game when Bridges took, like, what was it, like 11 threes or whatever it was? I don't remember what it was, but, like, he took a good, decent amount. It's just like, you guys got to, like, take the shots. Like, you just got to take them. And I feel like a lot of guys are just being hesitant right now. The easiest way to buoy our offense would be, while we figure it out, is not lose the math. Just spam threes and everything will open up, playing inside out and guys not shooting it, cutting it. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like the Knicks are like, especially with the cat aspect of it. I mean, like, I feel like they're trying so much to just like find him inside and like make up for the lack of inside presence that we either gave up in the trade or missing an injury. But it's just like, he's a 40% three-point shooter, and he's like a 55 whatever percent three-point shooter this year. I mean, I think his percentage went down because he went 2 for 5 today. I mean, even then, that's like still 40%, but like, gotta take more threes. Guys like Cat, OG Brunson, I want them taking a whole bunch of threes. Just take threes. That's the math of the NBA these days, you know? Taking threes. Gotta take them. All right. I mean, our next game is against the Sixers on, I want to say, Tuesday, the 12th. NBA Cup on TNT. Oh, it's always great to, you know, have our games on TNT. But yeah, we'll be going up against the 76ers. They are 1-7. But yeah. Let's see. Brent here. Hello, Brent. I feel like I haven't seen your name in these comments in a while. Offense, I don't care. We already top of the league while playing accidental basketball. Very true. Where's the defense? Yes, and I think that is where the chemistry still needs to figure itself out. And I feel like the Knicks just can't be playing drop against Miles Turner. That's one thing. And I feel like there's just a lot of miscommunication on like the screens. There's a lot of scrambling. Guys don't know who should be going on who. I don't know if everyone knows who they're supposed to be specifically switching onto in certain situations. You saw that a ton where it led to a lot of open threes. The Knicks just got to figure that stuff out. Like, they got to figure out like what is the scheme that they're going with? Like, is it drop? Is it switch? Like, and then from there, they just got to do a better job of communicating on these things. Because I feel like that's where a lot of tonight's miscommunication just came into play. Those screens, Mikal's screen navigation was very bad tonight. And it led to a lot of miscommunication, like guys having to like either pick up for him or like switch. Did they know they were gonna switch? Like, things like that. So they got to clean out that stuff. And we are desperately missing our actual 2 centers, Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa, who would make playing Cat at the 4 a feasible option, because we know Thibs doesn't want to, or he won't at least try Huckporty with him. That's something I would like to at least see, just so we can at least get a glimpse of what it may look like when Precious or Mitch comes back, and or Mitch. So yeah. Kid Kiro says the defensive woes can be made up for with 3-point shooting, 7 of 25 for 3 versus 21 of 46 from 3. It's just nasty mathematics. Yeah, I mean, you can always get into shootouts with these teams, but like if you're not actually like shooting threes, then yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna at least be all the way there defensively, you can at least try to, like Kid Kuro's here saying, just try to match the math. And Knicks aren't doing that. But yes, the defense is a problem, and it does need to get fixed. But I think a lot of that is also due to, might be due to like being gassed or whatnot too. Like I feel like that kind of plays itself into the situation. Not excusing them for it, but like, you know, I feel like this naturally what's going to happen too. Bill Butler here says that the Knicks might be a couple weeks away from being focused. I think in a couple weeks with the addition of, you know, guys just coming back, that naturally happening, as well as, you know, the team just starting to get some cohesion, some chemistry, some better communication amongst themselves, then yeah, I think the Knicks will look definitely will look more locked in than they currently do right now, which bodes well for their offense and hopefully for their defense as well. Because offensively, like Brent says here, we're playing accidental basketball and still kind of pretty much top of the league. It's just the defense got to figure itself out. But yeah. So Knicks versus Sixers on Tuesday. I will be back after the game to discuss everything that happened. Hopefully the Knicks get a win. It would be great to keep the Sixers at 1 win, but if Embiid is back, I don't know how well things will be going in our favor on the whistle side of things, especially it's his first game back, TNT, NBA Cup. NBA's got some narratives to start getting into place. I ain't making excuses before the game start, but I'm mentally preparing y'all because I know what's gonna happen. I know what the timeline's gonna look like. I'm just giving y'all a heads up so y'all can be prepared. Because I'm already mentally prepared for the shenanigans that will ensue if Embiid is actually healthy for this game. So yeah, I'll be back after that game. Leave a like, subscribe. Check out everything we're doing here at the Strickland. All links are in the description of the YouTube. Links to the site, merch, Patreon, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you're following us on all these places. Everyone enjoy. I don't know if all of you have Veterans Day off. I do. I will be enjoying the day off from not teaching. So there's that. I will catch you guys on Tuesday. Everyone have a good night. Peace.